So to start, we're going to go into a little bit of navigation and wayfinding across the web platform. First, to access the web platform, it's at my.tastytrade.com when you enter it in on your web browser. And when you first open it up, you're going to see a sign in page. Then you're going to be taken to the dashboard. So this dashboard is very similar to what you might see on our mobile or desktop platform. You're going to see a chart of SPY here at the top of your dashboard. So it's kind of a nice place to start your day. Check out, hey, what's the market doing today? Is it up? Is it a little down? Has it been trading sideways? In this case, it looks like, market started a little low, rise throughout the day, and then right around now, it's going down a little bit. So again, just kind of getting an idea of, hey, well, what's the movement looking like on today on SPY? You can check that out there. Underneath that, we also have just some general news across all industries. So any big news articles coming up, any big changes, announcements, earnings, in this case, talking about Tesla here in this news article. A lot of great different news articles that you can check out here in this area. And then lastly, just want to showcase here as well in this dashboard section, this is where you're actually going to find our one historical net lick graph. So if you go here in this top right that I just highlighted right there, get my drawing tools back real quick. And then at the top here, you're going to want to select an account. So first, we have this purple account ending in 01. If we wanted to view our balances in a chart on a different account, we'd click on this drop down and we could see we got this pink account ending in 08. We could switch to that. Or in this case, we're just going to be trading in this purple account ending in 01. So we can switch back to that. Once you've done that, you'll be able to see the chart for your net lick over a specific time frame. So right here, we have this little bar here, and then we have our chart up top. So in this case, based on our selection at the bottom of 1 month, we're looking at our net lick over the past month. So it looks like, we were a little above on the year, and then, we're getting down after the past month, but then also, on a week or daily basis, especially, you can kind of see how your portfolio might be doing in a specific account. So again, just a little snapshot to start your day. Check out your net lick, buying power, all that jazz right here. But for the most part, you're going to just go ahead and navigate to the trading tab to get to the meat and potatoes. So let's go ahead and do that. To get to the trading tab, sorry, let me just grab a water here and slow down a little bit. And then I see, good question, Leanne. So how do I change to a line graph and candlestick? So Leanne, good question. This chart right here, this is a default view. We're building it out a little bit more in our next releases where you're going to be able to edit that. But we have a main chart tab inside of the trading view where you're going to be able to make all those different settings. So you're not able to edit this right away, but you will be soon. Also, you're going to be able to add multiple symbols to this market snapshot here at the top in our next releases. So awesome. But okay, so how can we get to the trading tab? First, just check out the top left of the platform here. So you see dashboard, trading, and manage. If you wanted to get to your trading platform, you'd click on trading, or just for example purposes as well, if you wanted to possibly make a deposit into your account, manage your funds, transfers, maybe your account preferences, apply for futures trading, apply for crypto trading, check out your taxes, all of that stuff is under our management section here. And right now we're just in the summary page, and I don't want to absolutely dox my bank account here by going on these pages, but you can go under these tabs on the left side of your screen here. So under my money here, if you click on this tab here, you can go to deposits, withdrawals, transfers. Even then, you go to our tax center or my accounts. You can check out your confirmations, statements, download those, sign up for fully paid securities lending. All that jazz is going to be under our management page. So unlike the desktop platform, it's just it's nice on our web platform here that you're able to jump between trading and our account management section all under one browser here. So next, we will go into the trade tab. This is where we're going to be spending the rest of our time. So if we go into trading here at the top, click on trading. Now we are taking to the trading platform, or, it's going to look a lot like the desktop platform, or for those of you moving over from Web 1, same thing. To start, in our layout of this new web platform, we're going to have a left side panel, a middle panel, and a right side panel. So for those of you using desktop, very, very similar. On our left side here, if I get my tools, is going to be our navigation bar. So for those of you using our old web platform, you might see, portfolio here, or some of these tabs might be slightly labeled differently, but all those key components are there in terms of the trade tab, activity history. Some things we do have on here that aren't on Web 1 would be the charting tab or the researcher news. So there are some new stuff here, but we'll be covering all of that shortly. So you see all these different tabs here on the left. Right now, we're looking at the positions tab that's showing us all of our open positions in the middle of the screen. So we clicked on positions and we're seeing all this in the middle. Whereas if we then go and click on, say, for example, just chart here, we want to chart a specific symbol, we can click on chart and you'll see that the middle of the platform is going to update to our chart section. So just note here on this left side panel, this is where you're going to be navigating through your different tabs on the platform. If you're checking out charts, placing some trades, checking out your open positions, check out this left side here. Now, it might look a little bit different for some of you, and that's because I expanded this tab. So when you get in here first, in the bottom left of the platform, see this arrow down here, this collapse menu button? I just hit it, but let me get another drawing there for you guys. But this little arrow right here, if you want to see the names of each of these tabs, you just click on that arrow there, and that's going to open up our left side panel. And now, not only are we going to have the different tabs for our platform here, this is also where we're going to select which accounts we want to view and which accounts we want to place trades in. So it's important to expand that if you want to view your account balances or change the account you're trading in. So in this case, down here, we can see that we have two accounts under this profile. We mentioned them a little bit earlier, but we have that pink account ending in 08 and this purple account ending in 01. Right now, we have the purple account selected. You can actually tell that because it's at the top of our platform here. Numbers are dotted out because of privacy mode, but you can see our balances for this purple account. And if you wanted to switch between that account, all you need to do is just tap on this T shield right here at the top, or not at the top, or at least on this left side panel here. So if we double click on this T shield right here, we'll see that the top of the platform is updated to show our balances for this pink account. And when we go to place a trade here shortly, that would make that trade go into our pink account, or essentially, we're placing our trade in our account ending in 08 here that we just selected. On the flip side, if we wanted to place our trade in the account that we already had, we would just go back down to the T shield at the bottom. And we would just double click on this. And now the active account is our purple account. There's two more buttons there, and those are applicable to our positions tab. So if I navigate back to our positions tab up here, showing us all of our open positions, this is where we monitor our trades or look to close a position. We can click on positions. And then right now you actually see all of the trades in both of our accounts. That's because we don't have one of them selected in specific. So on our left side here, you see all these symbols, the pink triangle, and then actually there's just one position in the purple account, the purple circle there. You can see which positions are tied to which account in your positions tab. And then maybe you're thinking, hey, I only want to see the trades in my purple account because that's the account I'm currently trading in. All you got to do is just navigate to your left side panel and click on this box right here. And now we're only viewing trades in that purple account. Vice versa, if we only wanted to see pink, we would uncheck it and then check our pink box there. And now you see that purple account position is gone. So that's just in terms of finding your different accounts and listing them, and then also selecting the different account you want to place a trade in. And our tab navigation. And then just some last pieces on layout and navigation. I mentioned it earlier, but we have our balances section here at the top for the account we have selected, or the active account that we're going to be placing trades in. You can check out our net lick, account number, P&L day, P&L year to date, options buying power, stock buying power, And then you're also going to see some arrows here on the right side, depending on your zoom level. But you can click on these arrows here and see, P&L open, day trades today, delta, all that jazz. My window's super scrunched right now, so it's getting a little collapsed. But for example, this is also really good to know. If you're on the web platform and you're either having a hard time seeing things and or you just need more space on your screen, there's a quick command to do this. And it's a little bit different on PC. So apologies. I'm trying to remember if it's should just be Command Shift plus still on PC, if I remember correctly. But if you do Command Shift plus or minus on Mac and then also on PC too, you should be able to zoom in and out of the platform. So in this case, if I do Command Shift minus, that is going to zoom out my platform here so I can view a lot more, or Command Shift plus, pressing all of those at the same time, you can zoom in the platform as well. So just a little bit of a preference there if you're having a hard time seeing the platform or some of the things here are getting a little scrunched. Just remember that Command Shift plus or minus will zoom you in and out. Also, your web browser should have a little zoom functionality there too that you can mess around with. So that's just how you can customize the look there. So we had that top header there. And then we also have our active symbol header. So right now we're looking at Apple, but you imagine we wanted to check out the pricing or potentially place a trade or check out a chart on AMD. We see our position AMD here. We could click on that, and now AMD is our active symbol. Conversely, if we were to open up one of our watch lists, there's a lot of them here on the platform. There's one on the left side. There's one on the right side here too. So if we click on the left side here, we can expand that watch list. Let me get rid of these drawings. It gets a little cluttered. And then on the left side here, there's that watch list button right there too. We could click on that. So a couple different places you can have a watch list, but as you're clicking on symbols in your watch list too, so maybe you're clicking on Ford or Apple or Costco, maybe Tesla, you'll see that the active symbol here in the middle is updating. It's really important to know how this active symbol updates and works, because as you're flicking through symbols, looking to place a trade, you need to really be paying attention that it's like, okay, yeah, I'm looking at Tesla. That's my active symbol. Or if you're on our chart tab here and you are flicking through symbols in a watch list. So our watch list on the left here, we click on KO. Now we're looking at the chart on KO, or Tesla. We can see the chart on Tesla. Same with Costco or Apple. So you see at the top, our active symbol is updated, and whatever kind of midsection there we have selected is going to update based on your active symbol selected. So if we're looking at research and our active symbol is Apple, we're going to look at Apple research and news. If we're on our active symbol is Apple and we go on the trade tab, then the trade table we see is going to be all the options for Apple. So active symbol, very important across all of our platforms. Then we have a right side panel here. I'm going to cover it a little bit later, but it's just kind of a truncated version of this middle panel here. If you're not a fan of this right side panel, there is an arrow in the bottom right corner of the platform that'll allow you to collapse that window entirely. So we could click on that arrow, and now our right side panel is collapsed. If you wanted to get it back, you're going to see another arrow there in the bottom right hand corner. Click on that, and you're going to see those tabs again. So now that might have been a little bit much on layout and wayfinding. Just want to make sure you guys know where you're going, where to click, how to set up your layout there. But let's go ahead and get into the good stuff here and start placing some trades. So luckily, we're actually during open market hours, so we can start launching some options trades. But before we get into it, toss in the chat, what are you guys trading? What kind of option spreads or options trades in general would you like to see me queue up, for example, here? Or you maybe have been having trouble doing that. Do you want to see a trade in the table mode and curve mode? What are you guys using and want to see? Toss it in the chat, and I'll make sure that I cover that next. So, okay, so we see some verticals. Checking out the table mode, iron condors. I saw broken wing butterfly. Curve analysis, got it. Verticals, good spreads. Okay, cool. So we'll look to play some option spreads here in table mode. We'll also look to then jump into the curve mode afterwards. And then I'll show you guys some different areas across the platform that you can use to track your positions and analyze them. And then we'll kind of circle it up at the end in terms of how can you roll these positions, how can you place brackets or, stop orders, and then how to close out and reconcile your profit and loss. So we'll hit the whole story here. But perfect. Thank you so much for the feedback, guys. So awesome. Some charting stuff, analysis. Got it. Okay, cool. Let's do it. So let's hop in and place some trades. So to get to our trade mode, there is a couple different ways to get there, but just by default, we're going to click on the trade icon on our left side panel. So click on trade right there on the left side panel, and we're going to open up the trade mode. So this might look a little bit different for some of you, might look exactly the same. And that's simply because I am on the curve trading mode right now. So we're placing some options trade here in the top left. So we're placing options trade. Right now we're in curve trading mode. By default, I believe most of you, or about 90% of you, are going to see this right here, which is our table mode. So this is kind of the classic view for placing options trades, but shortly after, I'll also show you guys how to do this all on the curve mode as well. So I'm going to start with the table, and then we'll go on a curve shortly after. So when you're in the trade table here, if you wanted to find a day until expiration to trade, to start, you're going to look at the trade table down here. And first, we're going to see this column right here and this column on the left as well. So this is going to show you all of the available expirations you can trade on the active symbol that you have selected. So in this case, we have Apple up, and we're looking to place a spread on Apple, and we want to find an expiration. Pop open the trade table, and now we can see Jan 26 is the most, was that tomorrow? Yep, is our weekly expiration for tomorrow. And then also we have even leaps going out to 2025 and all there in between. You can see the dates here, and maybe, that's helpful. And you're like, oh yeah, May 17th, 2024. And you're a math savant and you instantly know how many days that is until, but if you wanted to simplify that math, all you got to do is just look at the center here and go, oh, yeah, Feb 16th is in 22 days. Makes it super, super simple. So, if you like to set up trades at a classic days until expiration, maybe you're like, hey, I really like to set up trades right around 45, 50, 55 days until expiration. Well, maybe we'll look to trade 50 days here, or the March 15th expiration. Before we go into and open those up too, I just want to note here, if you're not seeing the weekly expirations, or you want to view weekly expirations on the web platform, be sure to go to the top right here and click on this little filter icon right there. And that's going to allow you to select different expirations. So if you just like trading the monthly expirations, you would select regular. If you only trade the weeklies, you would select non-regular. So here's all of our weeklies, and you can tell that these are weekly expirations by these W's right here. So that means it's a weekly. And that June 18th is definitely not a weekly. I do not know what's going on with that one over there. But so you can check out your weeklies, or you can go in and click on all expirations, and you'll see all the available expirations. Awesome. So that's how you can find which expiration you want to trade. And then once you're ready to get in here, and again, maybe we'll trade that 50 days until expiration. Let me drag that over there. So if we click on anywhere on this row, so this row right here, just left click on it, that is going to expand our trade table here. So if we wanted to place a spread here, there's a couple of ways to do it. And there's quite a bit of information here that might seem a little daunting at first. You're like, this is a lot of data on the screen. What am I looking at? What do I need to see? And even then, curve mode somewhat simplifies this too. We'll cover that shortly. But when you're in here and you're checking out all these different data columns, the main things you're going to want to look at are the bid and ask for each of these strike prices. So we have the bid and asks, and then in the middle, we have the strike prices. So we can see, Apple's trading around last price 193.84. So that cutoff is right between the 190, 195 strike. So as you're looking to set up trades here, you're going to look at the strike prices in the middle. And then if you are not using the strategy selector, instead of just clicking on trades, you're going to click on the bid or ask to sell or buy that call or put. So again, let's go to set up a spread here. So if we wanted to set up a call spread, all we would need to do is see what strikes we want to buy, what strike we want to sell. So maybe in this case, I want to sell let's sell the 195 strike and buy the 200 strike there on the right side. If we want to do that, all I need to do is for selling, you're clicking on the bid price. So I want to sell this 195 call. I'm on the call side here. I see 195 strike. I go to my left and I can click on the bid there. And that is going to queue up my trade there. So, oops, got a little slid around. But so now we've queued up that trade there in our bottom window. We can see that sell to open -1, 195 call. If we wanted to then buy that 200 strike, we would look at the ask price here, right there. And we would click on the ask price on the call side to buy a call. So we click on that there. And now we can see the green B1, that's buying one, red S1, that is selling one. And this is a opening trade. So we can actually see in the bottom here, kind of that breakdown of that trade, that STO, BTO here at the bottom. So that's just getting the legs together. But maybe before you're even selecting the legs, you're kind of trying to see, hey, what does my profit or loss zones look on this trade as I'm setting it up? And in this case, it's actually probably going to be a little bit easier if I zoom out a couple of times. So let me get this going. Very nice. Okay, awesome. So a little zoomed out here. I did that Command Shift minus if your screen ever feels a little scrunched together. So Command Shift minus will help zoom it out, especially if you're in the curve mode. Very, very useful. But so once you've done that, then you can kind of see your trade a little bit bigger. But on our left side of the trade table here, you're actually going to see your profit or loss zones for the trade you have selected. So if we were to left click and drag and move our buy leg to maybe 210, and then, increase our sell there to the 205, our break even's more between there, between 205 and 210. So that green and red line you see there moving up and down on the middle of the trade table, that's showing your profit or loss zones, just kind of on a granular scale there as you're looking to set up your trade. Before we go forward to one last piece, if you are trading off of the expected move for this expiration, which is actually listed in the top right here, that 9.95, that is going to be represented right here under this orange highlight. So it's saying, over this next 50 days, based on the current options pricing, churning that through an options pricing model, about a one standard deviation move is sitting at 9.96 up and down. So that's indicated by that orange highlight as you're looking to set up your trades. But maybe we're thinking, hey, you know what? I actually want to profit as long as, this trades underneath its expected move over this next 50 days. You can kind of, use that information to go and say, okay, yeah, I'll make sure that, I'm selling that 205 or right on the top side of the expected move. And that, my break-even points sit around there too. If we wanted to flip the script there and, maybe move it down a little bit, we could drag our legs and same thing, kind of have it where we're profiting on, it's still within the expected move, but, a little more down. So some useful information as you're getting your trade set up, but then also, and let me zoom back in here for you guys. Let's do it for me. Zoom's giving me a hard time. But other than that, we do also have all of our metrics for our trade here at the bottom. It's a little zoomed out. I'm trying to fix that real quick. But all of these metrics here at the bottom of our trade, all these arrows are pointing to We have our beta weighted delta, our P50 for this trade, our probability of profit, delta, theta, max profit for this trade, max loss. It's a $5 spread. We're entering at credit of 230. So max profit is 230. And then, you minus that from 500, you get a max loss of 270. So we just do the math there. And then, your buying power effect for this short spread is going to be equal to the max loss potential on that spread. So buying power effect of 270. Other than that, at the bottom of our screen, we also have our order type that we're placing this at and the time in force. So we got GTC selected. We could set this as a day order, a GTD order, which is good till date. So GTC it's going to continue working until it's filled or you have canceled the order. And then a day it's going to continue working until it's filled, or at the end of the day, it will automatically cancel. And then GTD is kind of like a day order, except you're saying, hey, until this many days, if it doesn't fill, cancel it. So most of the time when you are looking to open, if you're placing like a closing order on a trade that's like a close at profit percent or a stop loss point, generally you're going to set those as GTC because you want them to continue to work until it hits your certain threshold. You don't want it to automatically cancel if it's not filled after the day. So we're just going to set this guy as a GTC. And then also in our bottom order ticket here, let me try one more time. Okay, there we go. Got the Zoom to work. But at our bottom of our order ticket here, some important pieces of information that you're going to want to know is the price that you're entering your trade at. And then also underneath that, you see these numbers here. You see NAT, you see mid price. So you're going to see NAT over here. You're going to see mid price right there. Also this over here. So that's kind of giving you a range of where these options are trading. So each of these single leg options has its own bid ask or spread there. So as you're buying two options, that bid ask for buying that spread or selling that spread together might widen out. And in this case, the market for opening this trade is trading between about $2.20 to $2.40. So we're more likely to get filled on a credit order or sell order here, the less we pay. You're looking to sell something, you're like, hey, I'll sell it for cheaper. More likely you're going to get filled on that. Same goes for buying. The more you pay, the more likely you're going to get filled. So as you're looking to set up this trade, a lot of people like to just enter just based on the mid price. Decent chance you're going to get filled there. But, if we did send at the mid price here or maybe a little bit higher, get that drawing tool up there. But if we cranked it up a couple times to maybe 235 or something on the high range, we're saying, I want to receive a little bit more of a credit when opening this trade and have max profit of 235. We could set that price with the arrows, or we could type it in, maybe go, hey, I want to set it at 240. We could set it at 240 and click on review and send in the bottom right. And that takes us to our overview page where we can see, hey, what commissions and fees am I paying here? What's my buying power effect? And that applicable information at the top as well. If we wanted to go back and edit that order, and in this case, we kind of placed the price a little bit above the market there. If we wanted to go back and instead change that price maybe to say, to 225, good getting a fill there. We could type in 225 or use the arrows to go down, review and send, double check our order, and then click on submit. And we had our working order. And since we kind of placed a little under the market, got filled right away. So it looks like it's trading around like 2.28. The mid price was at 230, but you can imagine, you send that order at 230, it's working for a little while, but you really want to open that position now or close that position now. You might need to inch down a couple pennies to closer to the NAT price, depending on what you're doing. So that is opening a spread there. So we've opened our spread. How do we view it? Couple different places. So we could go into our positions tab here, go on to positions, boom. And now if we go and select, make sure our purple account is selected, unselect that, we're going to see our open position in Apple. So we see this line item for Apple. If we were to left click on that, we can see that spread we just opened. So that was opening a options trade by just clicking on the trade tab. But now let's hop into the curve mode and use the strategy selector for queuing up a trade. So how could we do that? So to get into the curve mode trading on the web platform, you're going to need to go again to our trade tab here. This little trade tab icon, click on that. And then by default, you'll see the trade table mode. But if we go here and then go to trade mode, unselect that and then select curve. Now you're looking at our curve trading mode. And there's a few different ways you could trade through this mode. But generally, especially for those of you coming from the original web platform, this is going to kind of be the experience you're looking for here, is where you open up the curve and you're going, okay, I want to place another trade on Apple, or in this case, maybe let's do something on like Costco. So COST, we could type in Costco at the top while we're on our curve mode, and we'll see right now all the different prices listed. We can actually see that expected move I mentioned earlier as well, this little expected move there based on the expiration we had selected. But if we wanted to queue up a vertical spread here for Costco, I don't know where that, sorry about that. We could go into our strategy selector. Looks like someone else is having some fun over here in the pink account. But you could go over to the strategy selector here and click on this drop down arrow over on the left. So it's going to default to show you whatever strategy you had selected last. In our case, we had a vertical there, but you can click on that drop down there at the top, and then you're going to see all of our different strategies that you can place a trade on. On the old web platform, you saw vertical, short, put, short call, all different for selections. On the web and desktop platform, to toggle between the different types of strategies here, or to toggle between short and long and call and put, all you need to do is just tap on these icons. So imagine we wanted to do a long put vertical. We would tap on short to toggle to long, and then also click on call to toggle to put. So now we have a long put vertical. And even then, if we wanted to see, hey, what does that kind of like profit or loss zone graph look like for this trade? This show advanced button here on the right side of the window as well, it's going to help clear that up. So right now we are looking at our vertical spread. So we have this, long put spread right here. So we can see our profit or loss zones based on certain amounts of standard deviation moves for this underlying. So nice little graph there. And then, as you're going through these different strategies, maybe you wanted to, place an iron condor or something like that. You could click on iron condor, generally just doing the normal short one here, but you can do reverse too. But, again, you're going to see that little P&L graph there, or P&L at expiration graph underneath. And then even then in this strategy selector, it's really nice where you can say, hey, I want to trade the closest monthly expiration that's 50 or 45 days out. You could type that in at days until expiration on the top. And then you could also say, I want to set this up right around the 1 standard deviation point or 2 standard deviations. And then also, what is my strike width? Usually I like $10 wide, $5 wide. It just kind of cleans up that experience there in terms of queuing up the same trade every time. If you really like to use the same exact metrics, this advanced window here is super nice. But so we've selected our parameters, and let's go back to our vertical, our long put vertical here that we wanted to place a trade on. Say again, we wanted closest to 45 days out. I want a monthly expiration. Let's put it right around 1 standard deviation, and let's do maybe like $10 wide on the width. Once you've selected all your parameters, you're like, yeah, that's the trade I want to place. You would then go to this blue arrow right here. So click on that, and then now we're taken to our curve trading mode. And for a lot of you, I am almost certain that your screen is going to look a little scrunched right now. And you're going to be like, where can I see anything right now? It is absolutely rough trying to see this analysis mode. Well, that's where, again, this zoom functionality, we're building out all the necessary layout here so that it's a lot smoother. But if you ever do feel like your screen's getting crunched in this analysis mode, just remember that Command Shift V or Control Shift V, maybe on PC, I'm trying to remember. But you can do that and then zoom in and out of this window. So again, if you're zoomed in a little bit, you're not going to really be able to see much on that curve mode there. You could, in theory, over here, click on this arrow here in the top right of your order ticket, and you're going to see that view a little bit more, and you can kind of just keep clicking on that arrow in the top right of your order ticket to expand and collapse it. You still see your max profit and max loss for your trade, your delta, your theta, your probability of profit, all that jazz here at the bottom of our screen. We can still, left click and drag and move around our trade to set it up at different strikes or to widen it or, collapse it together. And that's updating all this information at the bottom. But, generally I would say, and I see a question, does the Zoom feature work on Chrome or just PC? It should work on Chrome, really on any device type, especially too, if you go, into your, it depends on it. PC is a little bit different. We're all set up on Macs over here. So it's hard getting the translation back and forth, but yeah, Command Shift plus should work pretty nice, or minus for zooming out. So in this case, I'm going Command Shift minus, and, it kind of zooms it out there. And then maybe after the fact, I can expand that up. Soon, you guys shouldn't need to do that, but that's a much better way of being able to view this analysis or curve mode while you're setting up a trade. So again, we had this long put vertical. Maybe we are looking to set up that profit or loss zone at expiration right around that expected move. We can drag our buy side or our sell side, see our max profit and loss. And then once we're ready, we can go ahead and review and send and ship it off. So now we got a working order in Costco. So great. Now that we have a working order, it's working. It didn't get filled yet. So if we do want to, go back and edit that working order and, try and get a fill on it, maybe decrease the price, increase the price, what you do, you can either go into your activity tab. Let me just zoom back in here. It's a little hard for seeing. But we have the activity tab here, and that's going to allow you to view your working orders. You can also go to activity here on the left side panel as well. That's going to open activity in the middle pane. And then lastly, the positions tab as well is going to show you all of your open working positions. So we also see our working order here in Costco. If we wanted to edit that working order, again, I think the easiest way to do that is just going to be through this right side panel, going to your activity, saying, oh, okay, got that working order on Costco. I want to go ahead and replace it. Just find it and then right click on it. So right now here, I'm looking just so you guys know where I'm clicking. I'm here on the left side of my screen or right side of my screen, flip-flopped it, right clicked on my position or my working order. And then I can go, I want to cancel this order, maybe replace it, or maybe I want to place another spread just like it. I could click on similar. In this case, I want to change my order price so I can go ahead and get filled on this trade, and market's pretty wide for these options right now. So we are going to need to tick it up a little bit here. Maybe we'll go 395 and ship that off. So we just went in our order price here at the bottom of our screen. Our previous price was $3.83. Right now, mid price is at $3.88. So it's gone up a little bit. Not very likely to get filled on our past price there. So we're going to just increase it to 395 and click on review and send and submit. And now we are out of that order at 383, started working the 395, and we got filled on that. Now we have our open position. So whenever you're looking to go back and edit your working orders on opening trades or closing trades, check out the activity tab, and that's where you can go back and quickly edit that order. So now that we've opened up some trades, let's show you guys how you can also roll your options positions. So if you're looking to roll to a different expiration or strike, you're going to start in the positions tab. So let me clear off our drawings here. And then I see Terrence asking, hey, can you show off a stock order? Yeah, I'll go over that very, very shortly. We'll cover that in just a second. Finish up this rolling trade real quick. So if we go back to our, not our trade tab, but sorry, If we go back to our positions tab, we're looking to roll a position. We can click on the positions tab up here, and we're going to see all of our open positions. Now we're going to find the position that we want to roll. Maybe we're looking at our trade on Apple and we're thinking, maybe I want to roll this out, extend this out to April. You could left click and select both of these legs. So you can left click and click both of them. Or if you are filtering or grouping by symbol or by order chains here at the top, you can also just click on the header here. It should work. Maybe not by symbol. Let's do order chains. If you click on the header here on vertical, it's going to select both those legs. So, if you got iron condor or butterfly, grouping by order chains here at the top makes it a little bit easier for selecting all your legs. So once your legs are selected, you can either go to the bottom here and click on actions, or you can right click as well. So right clicking pulls up that menu right there to either close or do any of those actions. And then also here, actions at the bottom, pretty much the same thing. So it's just a preference of either if you want to right click up top or if you'd like to click on the actions bar here at the bottom. If we're looking to roll to a different expiration, we'd go roll expirations, and then we're going to see our quick roll feature here, which is going to show us all the next monthly expirations we could potentially roll to here for our Apple position. We were talking about pushing it out until April, so we can see April 19th to 24, about 85 days out. Let's do it for a 25-cent credit. We could do that, click on that there, and even then, let's even that curve mode's giving us being a little naughty. But there we go. If you go back in table 2, you're going to see your trade here on this Apple position. We can see in our bottom left, we have our closing orders and then also our opening orders. So we're closing the Marches, opening the Aprils. And if you wanted to change the expiration either to go back or to go forward very quickly, all you got to do is this expiration button here at the top. You go forward expirations, and then you'll actually see, the trade tab here is going to open or update to May 17th, but also in the bottom left here, you're going to see May 17th too. So you can mess around, either decrease your expirations here or increase your expiration as well real quickly. And once you've set it, and we liked that April 19th, so we're closing our Marches. We're opening on April 19th, rolling for about a 25-cent credit based on the mid price. We can go on review and send and submit. And now we see our working rolling order here on our right side panel. If we wanted to edit that, we could do that same action we were doing earlier in terms of replacing our order. And then one more thing too, just want to show you how you guys could change strikes as well. If you wanted to adjust the strikes on a trade. So let's go ahead and just cancel that out. If we wanted to adjust our strikes, we're going to follow those same steps, find our position, right click, or go to our actions menu, and then you see roll strikes up or down. So we could roll our strikes up. And now we see all 4 legs here, but we want to move it around a little bit there. Or actually, flipped it there. But we could do that there and then roll our strikes. So, and then even then too, you could click on expiration, roll expiration and strikes. You can go back in expirations, or you could use these arrows here too in your order ticket to mess around with the strikes if you don't want to do the drag and drop action there. So that's how you can roll to different expirations and strikes through the positions tab. Let's just go ahead and send it off too. So send it off. See that rolling order for the different strikes there too. Cool. So that was rolling our trades there. And then also one more thing I wanted to show you guys is a very popular one. Let's cancel that. Imagine you like to place a stop order on a spread. How can you do that? So you have an open position. You want to place a stop loss point on your trade. How can you do that? Similar to our closing orders or our rolling trades, we find our position in the positions tab up here in the top left. And then we're going to find our position we want to place this stop order on. And then we could left click to select the entire position, right click, And then there's a couple different things we could do. We could do close position to set up a stop order here. We could do close at profit percent also to set a take profit, or we could do a bracket order too to do a combination of both. In this example, I'm just going to show you guys how to place a stop first, and then we can show you guys how to place a close at profit percent, and then also a bracket, and then we'll also be showing some stock trades. So right here, we clicked on close position to set up a closing order for this trade. So we're thinking, hey, you know what? I want to go ahead and, cut my losses or take my profit on my trade so far. You'd go to the position tab, click on close trade. And then if you're looking to set up a stop point here, what you're going to do is go to your order type right here. And then when you're in your order type, it's going to say net credit or net debit. In this case, this is a credit spread that we have open. When we go to close it, you're paying a debit to close it. Vice versa with long spreads. You open long spreads for a debit, you close them for a credit. So you'll see net debit, net credit all the time. But specifically, if you want to place a stop loss order or stop limit order on this position, you would go to order type, or not time and force there, but you'd go to order type, and then you'd go stop limit here in the dropdown, and you can set your stop trigger and your limit price. So maybe we're thinking, hey, I want to get a stop loss when it triggers up to like 240, 260 or something like that. And then you're getting your limit price at like 265. So if you place the stop price and the limit price at the exact same price, there are some inherent issues that could happen depending on how fast that options chain is trading or how quick prices are moving. So, you got to be a little bit careful with these stop limits just to make sure that, you're not letting your stop get triggered before your limit could also get triggered. There's some funky scenarios, but essentially that's what you do. Generally I like to put like a 1 or 2 cents in between and not use the same exact price. So that's how you could set up a stop limit just by itself. But then also, if we wanted to set up a closing order at a profit percent, so we're looking at the top side, we're saying, hey, if I reach 50% max profit, please close this trade or look to close this trade. We could, again, positions tab, select our position, and then we're going to see a close at profit percent that we can select it at. So maybe we want to close at 75%, 750% max profit. Big money. But we'll set it at 75%, close at profit percent, click on the arrow there. And now it's going to automatically set our order price there so that 57 cents there. If we were to close this spread for 57 cents, we would be taking a 75% max profit on this trade. So it's kind of doing the math for you there, especially if you're like, oh, I always like to close at 50% max profit or something like that. But that's how you can set up that trade. You go ahead, review and send, submit. And now we got that working order on Apple. And, the mid price is trading at $2.23. So it's probably going to take a little bit of time, or Apple's going to need a move for that limit price to get triggered. But again, it's like, if you're not on your computer all the time, or, imagine you're going on vacation or you trade during non-US hours, you're sleeping during that time because, you might be in Italy or in Europe, like some of you are in this demo today. That's where these stop orders or take it profit percent orders can come in nice, where, you don't have to be in front of your screen in order for that order to either get opened or to close a position too. And then to wrap that whole kind of spiel up as well, in terms of kind of covering both sides of the trade or hitting the take profit and stop loss point, you'd go to the positions tab here. And again, select our position that we wanted to close or place a closing order on, go to our quick action menu, right clicking, and then going to bracket orders. So bracket order, in short, is just letting you place a take profit and stop loss order that work in unison until either one of them is filled. So imagine you place this when you just open up your trade. You're saying, I want to take profit at 50% and stop loss at 50%. Both of those orders are going to continue to work on either side of your trade until your options either expire and or one of those orders gets triggered, and then it automatically cancels the other order. So Some of you might know bracket orders as OCOs or OTOCOs. It's called a one triggers, a one cancels the other, or one cancels the other. In this case, since we already have an open position, we're placing an OCO, or one cancels the other. And on our left side of our screen, we're going to have our order entry point, or in this case, since we already have an open position, it's saying, hey, where did you open up this trade? Well, we bought it, or not, sorry, we bought it. We sold it for $2.28 or a $228 credit. And the current mark actually is at 218. And then once we're looking to set up our stop loss point, we could go over here and look to set our stop loss order and our close at profit percent order too. So we can look and set it at, maybe we'll crank it up a little bit. Looks like my defaults might be messing this up a little bit too, but we could go up to or down to like a credit of maybe like 0.48 or something like that. And then also set our stop loss trigger as well in price. This has given me a little bit of a funky screen, but it should work for you guys on that side in terms of setting it by a certain percentage or limit price there. So that's how you can place it on both sides. And then once you're ready to ship it off, and this is giving me a hard time here. Let's see, let's run it back real quick. Zoom is destroying my computer right now. Yeah, it's giving me a hard time. So if you ever run into issues with the web platform too, like in this case, like the stop loss order price is a little funky, it's because I've had the web platform open for probably like 4 hours now, and also am streaming on Zoom. So I would love to, I guess I could probably hit the refresh button, right? Okay, yeah, that's not going to hurt anyone. Cool. Didn't want to accidentally end the stream here, but let's go back, check that out. That's still giving me a hard time. Okay. But essentially, that's how you set up a bracket order on the web platform here. If you do run into issues, please feel free to reach out to us. So that's our bracket orders. And then lastly, if you just want to place a classic, just like, hey, let's close out of this trade one last time, close position. Great. Now we're getting little pops ups, but we'll look at the market. Net price is at 230 right now. Maybe we'll crank it up to 227. And go 227, review and send, ship it off. And now we've closed that position. And when we go to our positions tab, we can see the quantity is 0. If we unfilter our closed positions too, it's not going to show up anymore. So that is how to kind of, do all those different trade managements on your positions. And then before we get into stock trading too, and I'm sorry for those that you asked, how can you also reconcile your profit and loss too? Is if you go to our history tab right here. So this little icon right here, we're actually going to see all the trades that we've placed today or on a specific symbol. We could specifically look at only trades on Apple. And we can see here either by selecting all these legs, or in this case, since it's the only transactions being shown, we can see in the top right there that we ended up taking a loss of $3. We can see paid $2 in commissions, about 50 cents in pass-through fees. Or actually, wait, no, we made $3. Whew. Not getting fired today. Let's go. But so net profit of a couple 50 cents, counting in that cost basis for commissions and fees. So that's where you can reconcile your profit and losses here. That's going to be in the history tab. And then also just to show you guys off, if you haven't seen it yet too, you can check out your year-to-date data on all of your positions or all of your symbols here under the year-to-date section. So. And Kim, yeah, you're right. I'm not going to get fired. But honestly, though, if I did place like a 20 lot and proceed to lose $30,000, that probably wouldn't be pretty good for me. So, but we're not. This is a live account, real money. But no worries about me. But okay, so that is how you could reconcile your options trading. If you wanted to then go and place a stock trade, let's go ahead and show that real quick. And then we're going to get into charting too. So a little bit of a long demo here, but I want to make sure we're covering everything. Also, let me see here. Oh, yes. Good question. So Peter, you asked the question about the profit or loss zones for, especially with beta weighted delta. So I got you. It's actually really nice. And this is very similar to our implementation on the desktop platform right now in terms of being on the positions tab. So if we go to positions here, click on that little portfolio icon right there. And then while you're in here, and let me just filter out those pink account trades. But while you're in here, check out this little section right here, this P&L button right here. If you click on that, it's actually going to show you by default this is the exact graph you're looking for, Peter, I believe. It's going to be the account portfolio value, or essentially your P&L open for all your open positions, graphed against SPY or whatever beta weighted symbol you have up. So in this case, if we're looking at just our Apple position, let's see here. It's being a little naughty. But okay, so we got our Costco position here. But in this case, if you're selecting just one position on the left side here, so we got this guy right here. We're just looking at the Costco position. It's going to auto beta weight to Costco. Essentially, this is just kind of like the analysis mode view that you might see on the desktop platform or also on the older web platform there in terms of looking at your profit or loss zones based on certain standard deviation moves. So in this case, you can actually see here, here's the bell curve. And then we got the one standard deviation points right there and there. So that's one standard deviation. And then we got two standard deviations there as well. And then as you go look to add other positions or all of your positions, and in this case, maybe let's actually show our pink account here. Show the pink account, get rid of that guy. And, you can kind of see a more breakdown view of your entire portfolio, or maybe, we want to just look at, a few positions together. We could select 3 different positions and see how that plays against SPY or movements in there and kind of see, hey, maybe my portfolio is a little net bearish based on SPY right now, or bullish. Maybe you want to look to take some actions or manage your positions accordingly. So I hope that answers your question, Peter, on that feature there. But let's go ahead and hop back into placing a stock trade. So stock trading is relatively pretty simple on here. And I'll also show you guys how you can place fractional trading or fractional shares too. If you guys have ever seen that, it's a little bit of a hidden feature. So if you go to the trade tab here, so trade right here in the top left, trade icon. This is kind of just like the simple way of getting to the stock trading mode. There's also the way of just clicking on the bid or ask on the platform, but some people forget or get talk right now. Mix up bid and ask. There we go. Why was that so hard? Ooh, hidden end of the day. But once you're in trade table, before we were actually in asset type options trading mode, but you see here single. That's how you can toggle between, hey, I want to see the options chain on AMD, or I want to place a stock order. And what's really nice on the web platform here is that as you're doing that, you'll be able to have your chart up on this symbol as well. We're building out the functionality to place trades directly on the chart and edit those too, but that should be coming out about like mid-February here, so like 3-4 weeks. And then once we're in stock trading mode, you're going to see here at the bottom of our screen, we have our order ticket. Whoop, there we go. So we can select either we want to buy or short shares. We also have our order quantity. So by default, I have my default set up to 1. Yours might be at 100, but you can type in a number 10, 5, 15. And for fractional shares as well, you can go down to decimals. So imagine you wanted to buy half a share on AMD. You type in 0.50 or just 0.5. And if you go to, and then I believe also we're going to have to set that as a day market. Yep. So you're going to make sure that you set that order as a market day order, or yeah, let's see. I'm trying to remember if it, yep. So you need to set it as a market day order for fractional shares if you're looking to do that. But if you're trading whole shares, you can place it as a GTC or a day or anything along those lines. If you're looking to buy like 2.5 shares, you need to make sure that first you place an order to buy 2 shares and then an order to place 0.5. So it's really like, if you're trading like some of these super high priced underlines and want to get a couple shares or essentially like a couple hundred worth of shares in it. Fractional shares are really, really nice there. You just edit the quantity, enter in a decimal amount instead of a whole share quantity. And then once we're ready to send it off, in this case, we're sending as a market order, a day order. So we're just looking to get filled at the best available price. We can go and click on review and send. Get this off our screen and review our trade here. Make sure that, hey, we're placed in the right account. We're buying one share AMD. Nicely, there's no commissions or fees here. And then we can see our buying power effect too, how much buying power this might take up. And one thing to note as well, if you're not catching this originally, you see how that buying power effect is $90. So that's actually indicating that this underlying can be held on margin or 50% margin. So, or 25% once it's open. But that's kind of an indication. If you see like, AMD, you're buying one share, the price is 180 and the buying power effect is 180, then that underlying is currently set to cash secured or requires the full capital amount to hold it. So just a little teaser there for some of you that like to trade stock. But once we're ready, we can click on submit. And we've gone ahead and opened our position on AMD. And then also to show you, and let me go back. To show you our AMD position. Oh yeah, I forgot that we closed our Apple position. We couldn't view it earlier. I was like, why isn't Apple showing up? It was closed. So once we have our AMD shares here, you're going to see, in the positions tab, you got your trade price, mark, P&L open. I know a lot of you, especially coming over from Web 1, want to get those same trade table, or not trade table, but positions tab columns set up. Some of the names are a little slightly different too. We have a nice glossary on our help center that'll clear that up. But if you're ever looking to edit these columns, click on this little gear icon right here. And then you see here on the left side, we have all of our columns that are displayed right now. So the first column we had up was trade price, mark, P&L open. And then these are all the ones that we currently don't have showing up on our page. So we could drag and drop and maybe say, oh, I really want to add in, like IV per expiration, maybe volume as well. And they kind of go to our bottom of our list, but we could drag them up, add them maybe to our middle of our list. So now they're in their displayed section. And now when we go into our positions tab here, we can see IV per expiration and volume. So if you ever get confused about which columns are which, you can feel free to reach out to us and we'll help get you set up or get the columns that you're looking for. But that's just a quick how-to on how to adjust your columns. And once you're done adjust your columns, and again, you're thinking, hey, maybe I'm ready to close out this stock trade. Same functionality as our options trading earlier, and that you find your position you want to close. You're going to left click it, right click to either close the position, or you could set up a bracket order on it too. Let's give that a whirl. Actually wants to be nice with me this time. Yeah, see, my computer is not having a day today. But in this case, let's just close the position. So we go close position. Market's trading between or bid ask right now. You can see it at the top two, 180.42, 180.44. Let's just go like 146. Just hit it on the high side. Oops, we're selling. We'll go to 42 cents. Oops, and submit. And then we have closed out that stock position. And then Daniel, you're saying, hey, how do you set up a ratio spread? Great question. Great question. So if we wanted to set up a ratio spread, go to our trade tab here. We'll go to options. So asset type options. We're on single for that stock trade. Now we're going back to options. And there's two different ways you can do it. I would say about 99% of the time, probably the easiest way for you is going to be finding the expiration you want to trade. So maybe the March 15th expiration here, going up to the strategy selector here at the top, and then going here to ratio spread. Once you're ready, you can just click on that arrow there. And now it's going to default to a 2-to-1 there for you. So you can drag and move it around. You could increase the quantity. Now it's a 2-to-4, 3-to-6. But maybe you want to do a 1-to-3. The way to do that would be first, click on your leg that you want to increase. So in this case, this short leg, the short 170 leg. We're currently selling 2 of them. If we wanted to sell 3 of them, we would need to go to our quantity. After selecting, it's blue highlighted. We go to our quantity section here in the middle and just tick it up 1. And now you see it's a 1-to-3. And even then on our page here, you're going to see S3, we're selling 3, we're buying 1. So that's essentially the easiest way to set up a ratio there. You could also do it just straight without using the strategy selector and go boom, 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 left click on your short leg, click the quantity arrow up twice, and now you got that 1-to-3 ratio set up. So hopefully that answers your question, Daniel. Thank you for asking. So any other kinds of trades, you guys? Let's see. I saw some people asking about our charting tab as well. Let's hop into that. So if we wanted to do some charting on our web platform, super, super nice. It's a little bit of a different package than our desktop platform. So this little chart icon right here, click on that, and we're going to be taken to a chart of our active symbol. So we got AMD, but imagine we, maybe we open up our right side watch list here and we go, hey, I want to check out all the symbols that we currently have open positions on. We could go to our positions watch list and see, click on different symbols here, V, Meta, NVIDIA, check out all these different charts here. And that's just very basic. But once you have your chart up, you can go in and start messing around with the aggregation. Maybe you want to, and what's really cool here too, is that you can actually go down to 144 ticks and 2 ticks on the web platform with this charting package. Right now on desktop, you can only go down to 1 minute. So that's one of the little added little spices for our web platform. So we could go down to ticks, we could go down to minute data, daily data, and then based on also the selection down here, or using your mouse wheel to kind of scroll in or scroll out, is going to start changing those time frames. So in the bottom left here, you can mess around and change your default time frames. Clicking on this little arrow here, and you can say, oh yeah, I want aggregation 1 day over a 2-year period. Drawing out of the way, sorry again. But aggregation 1 day, date range 2 years. Click on save, and now that's the chart that we're currently viewing. And it saves it there as a default too. So if you got some specific time frame defaults you like to save, super, super useful to set those up at our bottom of our chart here. And then once you've got your time frame set, you could also set the candle types. So we have about 12 different or 10 different candle types here. So we could go bar, or well, not candle types, but at least charting types. So we go bar, line. We could even bar looks okay, and personally I stick to candles, but you could even go Heikeneischke, if I pronounce that correctly, scatter too. So there's a couple different options here, and we're adding more, but you can change your chart type here just with this button at the top of our chart tab. So that guy right there. So that's changing our chart stuff there. And then our compare function here. This is super, super nice. So if you're looking to compare symbols on the web-based platform just based on price, super, super nice and simple. All you got to do is just navigate here to the top. And we'll go there. So we navigate to the top, we click on this little compare function there, and it's going to ask us to type in a symbol. So maybe we're looking at Netflix right now. Maybe we want to compare this and say, I want to see how the prices of Netflix compares to maybe, let's see, good competitor off the top of my head. Let's just do SPY. So we could do that. We could type in SPY, confirm our results there. And now we're going to see a comparison graph here of SPY. So we see this little line here of SPY, and then also Netflix. And even then we could go in here and we could go like, we could do TLT, add in another line. You could add in, Qs. You can kind of go on and keep adding in different symbols to compare to on top of your chart. And what's really nice is, as you go from Netflix to say DKNG or to SPX or to PayPal, those same settings that you had set up are still going across there as well. And then, if you wanted to adjust any of those colors or get rid of those, check out this left side here. You see my mouse scroll over, how there's a gear icon, a little X. If I want to get rid of that purple line with Qs comparing, could click on the X, or maybe with TLT, I want to change that to an area graph and make it blue. You can do that there as well. So that's kind of where you're editing some of those different compare functions there. It's going to act similar with our indicators here. I'm going to show you guys in a second too. So once we have our compare function, if we're looking to add indicators, we can go up here to studies. And then this is where we're going to have all of our available indicators on the web-based platform. So maybe we want a SMA line or simple moving average. We could type in SMA or type out simple moving average. You're going to see all the applicable indicators. You can click on simple moving average. Actually, sorry, you're going to left click, hold, drag, and drop. It should also, yeah, if you double click it too, it works. So if you just click it once, it's not going to do anything. Might be a little confusing, but double click or drag and drop, and you can add in one or multiple moving averages or indicators. Maybe you want MACD too on different time frames on the same chart. You can do that. And then once you've added those, you see here at the bottom of the window, you're able to change the parameters, the length of days, the displacement, some of the other stuff. Some other indicators are a little more in depth with the parameters, but you can change that and be like, I want a 25-day versus 9-day, or multiple different moving averages. And then once you have them set up and close, and if we let's get rid of these compares here because it kind of scrunches it up a little bit, but we have those two SMA lines. And even then we could go back and if we click on the settings gear icon like we did earlier to change the color, we can go, I want the 25-day to be green, and then that 9-day to be pink or purple. That's how you can quickly edit those there. And then lastly, just make sure that once you're done with all of this and you want to save it, that you go to layout and you select new layout, type in a name, my chart or something like that, and then just press enter, and this will save your preset. So maybe you're like, hey, when I'm viewing equities, I like to use these indicators, but maybe when I'm checking out futures, I use a different set of indicators. You can change to your different layouts very quickly by jumping in between the two. If it wants to be nice with me, even then it's giving me a hard, there we go. So then we go new chart too. It just depends, for our default layout here, I just clear that out. And then if I go back, my chart, there we go. So multiple different chart layouts that you can save as presets as you're going through.